Have you ever noticed that some people in their 80s seem calm, joyful, and quietly content, while others feel overlooked or disconnected from the world around them? It is a question many people think about as they grow older. Society often sends the message that happiness slowly fades with age, especially after reaching 80. Many assume that once people enter their later years, their world begins to shrink. Opportunities appear fewer, energy feels lower, and the excitement that once filled everyday life seems to disappear. Because of this belief, some people begin to expect less from life as they age. They imagine that joy belongs mostly to youth, while old age is simply a period of waiting and reflecting on the past. Over time, this way of thinking can quietly shape how a person experiences their later years. If someone believes that happiness is no longer possible, they may slowly withdraw from activities, conversations, and opportunities that could still bring them meaning. But the truth is far more hopeful. Happiness does not automatically vanish with time. Instead, it often changes its form. In earlier decades, happiness may come from building a career, raising a family, or achieving personal goals. Later in life, it can grow from deeper and quieter sources, such as wisdom, gratitude, meaningful relationships, and a sense of inner peace. People who reach their 80s carry something incredibly valuable: decades of experience. They have witnessed change, overcome challenges, and learned lessons that younger generations are only beginning to understand. Yet many older adults underestimate how powerful that wisdom truly is. In this video, we will explore 6 powerful habits that help many people remain happy and fulfilled even after the age of 80. These ideas are not simple motivational phrases. They are thoughtful shifts in perspective and daily behavior that can transform the way you experience this stage of life. One of these habits may even change how you see your 80s and the years that follow. One of the most important foundations of happiness after the age of 80 is protecting your sense of usefulness. Many older adults do not lose their joy simply because their bodies change or because they face health challenges. Instead, the deeper reason often lies in a quiet emotional shift, the feeling that they are no longer needed. When a long career ends, children grow independent, and daily responsibilities become fewer, it can sometimes feel as though a person's main role in life has come to an end. This feeling can slowly affect confidence and motivation. When people believe they no longer contribute anything meaningful, their days may begin to feel empty or repetitive. Yet usefulness has never truly been about employment, physical strength, or productivity in the traditional sense. At its core, usefulness is about contribution and connection. Human beings naturally feel happier when they know their presence makes a difference in someone else's life. Even small acts of guidance, support, or kindness can create a powerful sense of purpose. The happiest seniors often find simple ways to stay involved with others. Some share their life experiences with younger family members, offering advice that only decades of living can provide. Others volunteer their time, help neighbors, or participate in community activities where their presence is valued. Sometimes the impact of these actions is greater than people realize. A thoughtful conversation, a story from the past, or a moment of encouragement can inspire someone who truly needs it. These moments remind us that wisdom does not lose value with age. In fact, it often becomes even more meaningful. Many older adults discover that their experience, patience, and understanding allow them to guide others in ways that younger people cannot. When you recognize that your knowledge and presence still matter, your days begin to feel purposeful again. That quiet sense of contribution can restore energy, confidence and a deeper appreciation for the life you continue to live.
Another powerful habit that supports happiness after the age of 80 is choosing curiosity instead of assuming that learning is finished. Many people grow up believing that education and personal growth belong mainly to youth. Once they reach their later years, they begin to think that it is too late to try new things or explore unfamiliar interests. Over time, this belief can quietly limit their world. When a person stops being curious, life can start to feel predictable and repetitive. Days may pass in the same routine, and experiences begin to blur together. But those who remain happiest in their 80s often keep a different attitude. They stay curious about the world around them, even in small ways. Curiosity keeps the mind active and engaged. It encourages people to ask questions, discover new ideas, and remain connected to changing times. When you stay curious, even simple activities can feel fresh and meaningful. Reading about a historical event, learning how to use a new feature on a phone, trying a different recipe, or exploring a hobby you never had time for earlier in life can bring a sense of excitement and discovery. This does not mean you must take on something difficult or overwhelming. Curiosity can grow through very small steps. Asking a grandchild about their interests, watching a documentary about a topic you never studied, or experimenting with a creative activity can all awaken the mind in surprising ways. Curiosity also shifts your attention. Instead of focusing on what you may have lost over time, your thoughts move toward what is still possible to explore. This change in perspective can make life feel more open and interesting again. Many older adults find that learning something new brings a refreshing feeling of being a beginner once more. That sense of exploration reminds them that growth does not have an age limit. Even after 80, the mind still has the ability to adapt, discover, and enjoy the process of learning.
Another important secret to happiness after the age of 80 is redefining what independence truly means. Many seniors struggle emotionally because they hold on to a very strict idea of independence. They believe that being independent means doing absolutely everything by themselves without asking for help. Because of this belief, some older adults push themselves too hard, avoid assistance, or feel frustrated when their physical abilities begin to change. However, true independence is not about isolation or stubborn self-reliance. Instead, it is about maintaining control over your life, your decisions, and your choices. Independence means having the freedom to decide when you want to do something alone and when it is wiser to accept support from others. This shift in thinking can remove a great deal of emotional stress. Accepting help does not reduce dignity or strength. In fact, it often protects energy and allows people to focus on the activities and relationships that truly matter to them. For example, accepting help with heavy household work can prevent physical strain and reduce the risk of injury. Allowing family members to help with transportation at night can improve safety while still allowing social interaction and connection with loved ones. Many seniors feel happier when they stop viewing assistance as a sign of weakness. Instead, they begin to see it as a practical strategy for living a safer and more comfortable life. There is great wisdom in knowing when to act alone and when to cooperate with others. That balance often leads to greater confidence rather than loss of independence. One elderly woman once resisted using a walking aid because she believed it represented aging and decline. She felt embarrassed at first, but after she finally decided to use it, she discovered something unexpected. She was able to walk outside more often, visit friends, and participate in social activities without fear of falling. Instead of limiting her life, the support tool expanded her freedom. True independence after 80 is not about proving strength to others. It is about making smart choices that protect health, confidence, and emotional well-being while still allowing personal freedom and dignity. When people accept this mindset, they often experience less stress and more peace in their daily lives. Another powerful habit that helps maintain happiness after the age of 80 is letting go of comparison. Throughout life, people tend to compare themselves with others. In younger years, comparisons often focus on careers, income, success, or social status. Later in life, comparison quietly shifts toward health, memory, mobility, or even longevity. These comparisons can become emotionally painful because they make people focus on what they feel they are losing instead of what they still have. When someone compares their current self to younger people, they will almost always feel discouraged. Aging naturally brings physical and mental changes, and comparing yourself to someone decades younger ignores the natural differences that come with life stages. Even comparing yourself to other people your own age can sometimes create sadness. Some 80-year-olds may appear stronger, more active, or more energetic, while others may be dealing with health challenges. But appearance does not show the full story of someone's life. People rarely share their struggles publicly, such as chronic pain, medication side effects, emotional stress, or sleep problems. The happiest seniors tend to measure progress based on their own personal journey rather than against others. Instead of asking why they cannot do what someone else can, they ask whether they are doing the best they can with what they have today. This mindset creates dignity and emotional stability. It shifts attention away from competition and moves it toward personal growth and gratitude. Gratitude is one of the strongest emotional supports in later life. When people focus on what is still working well in their lives, such as relationships, memories, or simple daily comforts, they experience greater emotional balance. Gratitude does not mean ignoring problems. Instead, it means recognizing positive aspects of life while still being realistic about challenges. Comparison often creates unnecessary emotional pressure. Social media, family gatherings, or community events can sometimes highlight achievements and strengths of others. But the happiest older adults understand that each life story is unique. They focus on walking their own path rather than trying to match someone else's pace or lifestyle. Letting go of comparison does not mean lowering personal standards. It means setting personal goals that make sense for your own life situation. When people stop comparing themselves to others and instead focus on their own progress, they often feel more peaceful, confident, and emotionally stable in their later years. Another important secret to happiness after 80 is simplifying your life intentionally. As people grow older, they often realize that peace becomes more valuable than constant activity or accumulation of possessions. Over the course of decades, many people collect not only physical items, but also responsibilities, obligations, emotional attachments, and unfinished plans. What once felt like comfort and abundance can slowly begin to feel heavy and overwhelming. Many seniors believe that staying busy is necessary to remain happy. They think every day must be filled with tasks, social obligations, or possessions that represent memories from the past. While memories are important, holding on to too many things can sometimes create mental and emotional pressure. Happiness after 80 often comes from understanding that life does not need to be complicated to be meaningful. The happiest older adults often begin reducing unnecessary burdens from their lives. This can mean organizing their living space, donating items they no longer need, or simplifying their daily routines. Some choose to reduce social commitments that feel more like obligations than enjoyable experiences. Others focus more time on people and activities that truly bring joy, rather than trying to please everyone around them. There is also a neurological reason why simplification helps. As people age, the brain processes information more slowly compared to younger years. When surroundings are cluttered or mentally stressful, the brain must work harder to manage distractions. A calmer environment allows the mind to function with less effort, which can help reduce anxiety and mental fatigue. Simplifying life does not mean forgetting the past or erasing memories. Instead, it means carefully choosing what deserves to stay in your life. Many seniors discover that keeping only meaningful objects, meaningful relationships, and meaningful activities creates a stronger sense of emotional balance. One elderly man once described this feeling by saying that he did not feel like he owned less after decluttering his home. Instead, he felt lighter inside, as if a burden had been removed from his thoughts. Emotional simplification is just as important as physical simplification. Releasing old arguments, forgiving past mistakes, and choosing peaceful conversations over conflict can significantly improve emotional well-being. Peace becomes something worth protecting, especially during later stages of life, because it directly influences happiness and mental clarity. The final secret to happiness after 80 is making peace with unfinished chapters of life. By the time someone reaches their 80s, their life story has usually become long and filled with many different experiences. There are moments of pride, success, love, and achievement. At the same time, there may also be moments of regret, disappointment, loss, or dreams that were never fully realized. Many people believe that happiness in old age means having no regrets at all, but this expectation is unrealistic. Every long life contains decisions that could have been different, opportunities that were missed, and paths that were never taken. What separates peaceful older adults from those who feel emotionally restless is not having a perfect life story. Instead, it is their ability to accept their story as it is. Unfinished chapters only continue to create emotional pain when people keep arguing with the past inside their minds. Some individuals spent many years replaying old decisions, wishing they could change what happened decades ago. But the past cannot be rewritten. What can be changed is how a person emotionally relates to their past experiences. Many older adults find peace when they begin to view their past decisions with compassion rather than judgment. They understand that every choice they made was based on the knowledge, emotional maturity, and life circumstances they had at that time. It is unfair to judge younger versions of ourselves using the wisdom we gained many decades later. Life is a continuous learning process, and mistakes are often part of personal growth rather than signs of failure. Another important part of making peace with the past involves relationships. Some seniors carry emotional weight from conflicts or lost connections with friends and family members. After 80, time often feels more precious, and some people choose to reach out to old friends or family members they lost contact with over the years. These small emotional reconnections can sometimes release long-held emotional tension and bring a sense of closure. Psychologically, holding on to regret consumes mental energy. The brain sometimes keeps revisiting unresolved memories in an attempt to process them, but acceptance can help calm that mental cycle. When people accept their life story with all its imperfections, they often experience greater emotional stability. They stop fighting their own past and instead begin honoring the life they have lived, including both successes and mistakes. This acceptance often creates a deep and quiet sense of dignity and inner peace.